Hi, this is Tanita Tucker, and the research topic that I chose for my poster is the homeless patron population. And basically, the reason why I selected this population for research is because there are a lot of stereotypes associated with this population, and then there's also a lot of changes that have been made in the public library system in reference to serving these patron needs. I currently live in Columbia, South Carolina, and the one thing that I immediately noticed at the main library, which is located in downtown Columbia, is they actually have an area designated for homeless patrons who come into the library with lots of their belongings or needing a place to consume their food or even rest. There are actual tables set up in this one area, and then there's a designated spot where they can actually place like huge book bags or suitcases or even shopping carts. When I lived in New York, I lived in upstate New York, and I lived in a small village. Never really saw homeless patrons frequent the branch that I frequented as a patron. So it was definitely enlightening to see that population. Not only that, when people think of the homeless patron population, they automatically assume the group that I just mentioned to you. Typically, older adults who are either diagnosed with some type of mental illness or substance abuse or drug abuse, but they never think about patrons that are homeless, such as children, families, and even college students. I was able to actually research the population and find out information about both of those groups, the college homeless patron population, and then also the homeless family patron population. And one of the key factors that I found out about that population, specifically the homeless graduates or college attendees, is that they, number one, they're in college and that they either were working on a degree or had recently completed a degree, which totally goes against the stereotype associated with that population. These are educated people who have completed, you know, degrees in maybe engineering or criminal justice or political science, and they just happen to fall on hard times. That population, they usually frequent more of an academic library, but they also frequent the public library. And a major finding was that library staff were faced with challenges on number one, how to identify homeless patrons outside of the stereotypes associated with that population and how to serve them. Staff felt that they were inadequate in their skill level to meet the many needs of this population. Also, the library or many libraries have adapted certain policies that exclude the homeless population. They impose rules such as no sleeping or people with offensive body odors. And with the homeless population that I mentioned previously, the older adults, the men, the women, those are the people that usually come to the library sleeping or maybe have offensive body odors due to the fact that they don't have access to bathing facilities. Um, just to elaborate a little bit more in reference to the challenges faced by the population, outside of the fact that they may have some mental health issues or drug or substance abuse issues, a large sector of that homeless population is actually the family homeless patron population, and that population has grown about 46% since 2009. So the needs that they have as a family are absolutely different than an individual homeless patron. Libraries have to find a way to serve that entire family unit. So maybe you have a parent that has some literacy issues, or maybe they have some parenting issues, or maybe the students are not attending school regularly because they don't have adequate clothing or shoes, or just many different needs that they have that they come to when they come to patronize the library. One of the positive approaches that I found during this research is that there are several library systems throughout the United States of America. In Texas, for sure, I know that they actually have social workers on site that are full-time employees of the library system there to help that population with housing, medical assistance, food, being placed into shelters, and even things such as locker storage so that they can store their items so that they won't be kicked out of the library for having, excessive items or large bags that will prohibit them from utilizing the computers. Also, some library systems have unlimited computer use for these patrons, so it's not the typical after an hour then you're no longer allowed to use the computer, or that's your allotted time for the day. And then also programs such as resume writing, job workshops, job readiness, and even assistance with obtaining a GED, which is usually through workshops, or if they have a social worker on site. Not only that, with the community collaborations that the library system has, the patrons are afforded those opportunities to take advantage of those services. So I hope that you enjoyed the presentation. It was definitely an eye opener for me. It made me more aware of what is considered as a library patron, or who is considered as a library patron, and the different needs that they all have. Thank you.